Welcome to Queer Interference Yoga. My name is Milo, pronouns they, them, or he, him. I'm going to do kind of a brief practice today focused on tools for mildly increasing your energy. So I know I have been fighting a little depression lately, and I am not alone. I know from talking to other people, the weather change, increase, at least where I am, in COVID rates again, and just, everything that's happened to us our entire lives, and in the past year in particular, um, it's really making me feel sleepy, let's say, at the very least. So, what I want to do today is a series of not super intensive, so this is not like a get your energy up by going through a super heavy flow practice. Um, Kind of slower, breath based chest and hip openers that help to just provide a little energy when you need it, right? It's not a solution to all of our problems, but tools for making it through some of these darker days. So we're going to start standing. Get straight kind of into our energy. Again, if you are not a person who practices standing, then you will start seated, but upright, whatever way that fits your body. If you are standing, you're going to bring your feet to hips width apart, so your ankles are underneath your hip bones. Give yourself a little bend in the knee so you're not hyperextending. And then inhale, lift way up through the crown of the head. Exhale, let the shoulders come down away from your ears. Bring the palms forward. Just gently rotate your shoulders back. And bring the breath in and out through the nose, and just take a few deep breaths into the low belly. These breaths, just noticing any place that your breathing might provide you a little bit of stimulus, in places where it provides a little bit of relief. And on your next inhale, you're going to bring the fingertips towards the ceiling. And you're going to stop when you feel like your shoulders start to come up towards your ears. So if you get to a place where you're real hunched, bring the fingertips back down. Shoulder blades come onto the back. And just stretch up through the ends of your arms, wherever those are, fingertips, whatever your most extended places. And again, inhale, reach up and out from the soles of the feet all the way to the fingertips, and then exhale to just settle back down into the soles of the feet. Let the shoulders come away from the ears. And noticing stimulus and release. So we often, I think of energy as being like kinetic, moving, speed, and rest is somehow like lethargy or heaviness. But energy can come in a still form that feels like a little bit of stimulation, right? And it can also actually come from release. So letting something go can also actually increase your energy. Doesn't necessarily have to mean you let something go and then you just like sink down into sleep, right? So stimulus, inhale, letting go, exhale. One more inhale, really reach out through the fingertips. And then exhale, bring the hands out side to side. So keep the palms up. You're going to lift your pinkies towards the ceiling. Bring your thumbs a little bit more towards the floor. If your low ribs pop way out when you do that, tuck them back in. Inhale up through the crown of the head and exhale the shoulders away from the ears. Start to notice stimulus where things are getting a little bit more energized, even if it's taking energy to do it. That could be heat building or tingling sensations. And then in your exhales, what can you drop? What do you not need to be clenching or using or mentally or emotionally holding on to in this one moment? that you could just drop away, get a little lighter. On your next inhale, you're going to bring the arms back up again. And then on your exhale, you're going to bring the elbows out side to side. Pause in this kind of cactus position. Tuck the low ribs in. You're going to draw the low tips of the shoulder blades together. And then keep bringing the elbows back around behind. When the elbows won't come any closer together, start to bring the palms towards each other. So it's possible that your palms will come together and you can interlace the hands. If that doesn't happen for you, grab something else you can hold on to. So I'm going to hold on to Winter's pajama top. But whatever it is, a shirt, a tie, a strap, and you can hold it side to side and then roll the shoulders back. So whether you've got the strap or whether you've got the clasp, you want your shoulders to be coming back as much behind your chest as you can, and then you want to tuck the low ribs in so your chest isn't sticking out. And then again, you're going to inhale up through the crown of the head and exhale to let the shoulders come away from the ears. Make sure you've got a bend in your elbows. So my brain tells me I have a bend in my elbows when I don't. So if your brain is like mine, over bend the elbows so you know that there's a bend there. Shoulders away from the ears. Let it go. On your inhale, breathe across the chest. Notice any stimulus. And then as you're ready, you're going to fold forward. So you want to widen the feet as much as you need to and bend into the knees as much as you need to, so that when you start to fold forward, you can really fold at the hips. So you're not rounding your back. And then you can keep the strap if you have it. You can keep the clasp if you've got the clasp, and just fold all the way down. Try to lengthen the low spine. Keep rolling the shoulders back. And then again, notice any kind of stimulus that might happen as you move from upright to forward fold. There's more blood going to the head and the brain. You can leave your hands where they are, or you can lift them up a little bit. Especially if you lift them up, make sure you keep that bend in the elbows. You're going to bring your weight over onto your left foot and then lean towards the left. So, not to stick my butt in your face, but it might help to see it this way. Lean towards the left, so you lean your shoulder down towards the knee and then lift the opposite shoulder up. It'll look like this from the front. And then you're just going to roll the torso through center. Bring the right shoulder down, left shoulder up. Over the other direction. Exhale back to center, drop the hands. Sigh out through the mouth, shake out the crown of the head. And then wherever you are on your mat, you'll either walk your hands forward or your feet back. Come to a downward facing dog. So we're not going to do vinyasas today, but I'm going to bring us through what would be one version of a vinyasa, just to get us into another back bend. Also stretch to the backs of the legs a little bit. So in your downward facing, press into the fingertips, lift up through the shoulders to the hips, and then press down into your heels. On an inhale, breathe deep into the belly, notice any stimulus. On an exhale, let go of one little thing, whatever it is. Your next inhale, you're going to come forward to plank. So you can have your knees up or down. We're going to pause for a few breaths just to build some heat in the chest and the shoulders, which then might increase the stimulus effect of our back bend when we get to it. So you can have your knees up, you can have your knees down, you can come in and out of this. You're going to plug the upper arms into the shoulders, draw the low belly up, squeeze the inner thighs. Again, here, noticing stimulus on the inhale, letting go of something on the exhale. And then you're gonna slowly lower yourself all the way to the mat. So you can bring knees down and then bend the elbows back and come down this way. You can come down all in one line, but really make sure the low back stays long as you come down. You're gonna untuck the toes. You're gonna really consciously release your glutes, your butt muscles, and then squeeze the inner thighs. And then you're gonna start to engage with the low back. So you want your glutes to stay as soft as possible. You can reach back even to see if they're clenched. And then you want to start to bring engagement into the back, all the way along the spine, and then all the way up to the shoulders. Really roll the shoulders back just like you had them when they were clasped. And just take a few breaths into this baby cobra. If you notice your low back starting to bother you, again, soften your butt muscles. You can squeeze the inner thighs, you can squeeze the low belly, but really be using your back muscles to lift you up and open. And then you're going to exhale, tuck the toes. You can come up through hands and knees, or you can come up through chaturanga to plank, but you want to keep the hips and the shoulders aligned. And then you're going to press back to downward facing. Take 3 deep breaths. And inhale, come forward to plank again. This time you're going to drop your back, your left knee down, and bring your right foot up to your right hand. So you're going to take a couple breaths into a gecko pose here to start to get into the left hip. So hips are also a place that can just carry a lot. Back bends are actual energizers, so they have a similar effect as like caffeine. Hips are more like they just hold on to so much that it's a good place to get that kind of energizing sensation. So stretching into the hips, you can feel, most of us can feel the stimulus happening pretty quickly, because we use our hips to sit and to stand, and many of us do that for a lot of the day. But then also letting go in the hips can feel like a big shift, right? So as you inhale here, you're going to really lengthen out through the crown of the head and drop the torso. Notice any stimulus you might get in the hips. And then as you exhale, you're going to try to soften the glute, the right thigh, the right outer hip down towards the floor. Come back up onto the palms. We're going to add a little twist and back bend and quad stretch here. So I often do yummy pose after a lot of prep. We haven't done a lot of prep, so I'm going to invite you to use something, your child's pajamas or whatever you have, to lengthen out your arm for this. So you're going to bring the left hand down. It can be on your palm or on the fingertips. Your right foot is going to stay where it is. And then you're going to start to bend into the left foot and then bring as much length as you need. You get a long blanket, a long strap, so that you can turn the torso open towards your right knee, and then press your foot back into whatever you've got. Get a little quad opening here. And then you can lean back and also get some chest opening. So a lot of possibility for stimulus in this pose. Breathe into wherever you're feeling that. Breathe out to soften, release, or let something go. One more inhale, notice any stimulus. Exhale, release the back foot. Tuck the toes under. You're going to bring the right hand forward. Step the right foot back. You're going to come back to downward facing. Take a couple breaths. Really stretch down through the heels. Press into the fingers. then go ahead and bring the left foot forward. Right knee comes down. We're going to come into gecko on the second side. So you have both hands inside the left foot. Squeeze the back knee and the front foot. Lower the torso in one line as much as you need to get some sensation, some stimulus into the left outer hip. And then breathe into anything that feels like slightly energizing. Breathe out. Try to release and relax the hip. It's almost like relaxing the hips allow more things that were buried in the hips to come up. That can take energy from you to process that, but it can also be a stimulant, right? It can be a thing that draws your attention, that shifts your energy, that allows you to just be a little bit more present. So for me, depression is partly about wanting to go to sleep, but it's also about like my brain just feeling heavy. Like it doesn't want to like attach. So those little bits of just energetic movement sensation can like wake up my attention in the moment. Alrighty, I'll come back up onto the palms. You're going to bring the right palm down this time. Again, you can be on your fingertips, your palm, a block if you have it. Then you're going to roll your chest open towards your left knee. So you've got a twist and a chest opener here. And then you're going to bring your left hand back towards your right foot. And again, grab something to give yourself an extra long arm here. We haven't done any, we're not building up to this yummy pose. This is like a make sure you can accommodate yourself into this pose. We're just looking for some stimulus again in the back quad and the chest opener. Getting straps around your foot is always like the most irritating part of yoga for me. So you're going to lean back into the twist, press out into the foot, open the chest. Take some deep breaths into where you feel the stimulus. Let it draw your attention. And then exhale, let go of the stuff that's like not really drawing it right now. Like whatever feels weighty and not interesting and not like something you want to attach to, just let it go, at least for the length of this pose. As you're ready, you'll exhale to release the back foot down. Unwind, tuck the back toe under and step back again to downward facing. We're going to come onto our backs. To get there, I'm going to invite you to look forward and slowly walk the feet up. So use this as a way to get a little bit more into the calves and the hamstrings. Again, noticing any stimulating sensations that come up in the backs of the legs. Letting them focus and draw your attention. And then trying to drop away the other stuff. Depression for me is also very much about a lack of focus, kind of feeling like everything is one big gray, foggy mess. And this doesn't get rid of it, but it again allows me in the moment to just feel like I can like push away some of that mess and be focused on one thing. Meet up in a forward fold, and then you're going to exhale to slowly bring the glutes down. Come down onto your back with the soles of the feet down, knees up. You're going to have your feet about hips distance apart. Press down into all four corners of both feet, and then you're going to press into the backs of your forearms. And you're going to squeeze the inner thighs, draw the low belly in, but try to keep your glutes really soft. And then lift the hips up. And then you're going to try to bring your shoulders a little bit more underneath your chest. So making the back bend come here really on the upper back, like you're trying to press the top of your chest more towards your chin, not lift the hips. I mean, you'll lift them, but that's not where the back bend's coming from. Anytime you feel your glutes start to tense up, really consciously soften them. Let that go. Breathe deeply across the chest and the belly. On an exhale, you're going to slowly lower the sacrum down. Try not to squeeze the glutes as you do that. And then when you get down, just pause. Notice any place that there's any stimulus. Exhale. Notice any place where you can move some stuff out of the way. Do one more of those. Bring the backs of the arms down, press into the feet, squeeze the inner thighs and the low belly, but keep your butt as soft as you can as you lift up. Again, you can walk your shoulders under a little, and then this time if you want to, you can bring the hands down and interlace. You might be able to use that to walk your shoulders under a little bit more. Again, consciously releasing your glutes if they start to clench up. And then noticing any stimulus, maybe in the upper back or shoulders, maybe across the front of the pelvis and the legs and the face. And one more inhale into the stimulus. Exhale, release the clasp if you have it. Slowly lower the torso down. Just pause to feel any place where your attention might be more focused, a little bit sharper. Any places where you can let some of the fogginess go. Cross the left ankle over the right knee, flex in the right foot and draw the right pinky toe back towards the right outer knee, and then draw the left knee up and in. You can interlace your hands behind your hamstring or put a strap or a shirt or PJs or whatever behind it so that your shoulders can stay soft. Really trying to bring the sensation into the right outer hip here. So draw your left knee in, but then press the right knee out. And then if you want to rock a little bit side to side, move, but move really slowly, noticing where any stimulants might arise. And then where might you let go more? The shoulders, the neck, the face. Even your clasp doesn't have to be, you're not clenching the back of the thigh. Your low back can release a little more. And come back to center. And the left foot down, uncross and cross the other direction. Draw the right knee up and in and interlace the hands. Flex in the left foot, draw the pinky toe back. Stay in the middle or rock a little side to side, but move slowly and look for the ways that your hip stretch might focus your attention, might sharpen your sensation of the body, might provide a little bit of energy. Again, not necessarily the kind of energy where you're going to go outside and like run around, but energy to stay with something, stay focused on something for a few breaths. Alright, I'll come back to the center. Bring the right sole of the foot down and uncross. And draw your knees in roll to one side, and we're gonna come to hands and knees. So instead of a traditional Shavasana here, we're gonna do puppy pose, which again is a little bit more energy raising rather than kind of settling in. So you're gonna walk the hands forward. Press down into the palms, lift the armpits up, and you're gonna stay engaged in the arms even as you rest your face and your forehead. So if your forehead comes to the mat, great. If not, you're gonna fold something up and put it underneath your forehead, a blanket or a towel or a block. You're gonna keep pressing into the palms to lift the arms and the armpits away. But then outside of pressing down into the palms and lifting the armpits, you're gonna soften everything as much as you can. If you need to keep your low belly engaged a little bit to protect the low back, please do that as well. But just the minimum engagement here. And some deep breaths across the chest. Notice how much stimulus or energizing you can get even in an asana where the engagement is more on the minimal side. If you need more, you can always bring your chin down. Deep breaths across the upper back and chest. Notice any stimulus or focus, and then exhale. Release anything that you don't need to be holding. Alright, you're gonna exhale and bring the hands in. And the hands and knees. Take one really long cat-cow. Inhale, drop the belly, lift the crown of the head and the sitting bones. Exhale, big round up towards the ceiling. Drop the sitting bones and the crown of the head. And you're gently going to press yourself to downward facing. Walk the hands in towards the feet, or the feet in towards the hands, depending on where you are on your mat. The long spine, you're going to inhale and come all the way up to stand. Notice the sensation shift as you stand. Bring the fingertips up. And exhale, hands to heart center. Take a deep breath into the low belly together. Long sigh out through the mouth. Let your chin